Woo! Greetings, greetings, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Miss Bliss, Journey to Bliss, and we have a special guest this evening. Oh, there's that echo. Hold on. Listen to me. Hold on. Let's see here. Get rid of that echo. Little bit of technical difficulties. Okay. Do you hear it? You don't hear it anymore, right?
I don't hear any echo.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we're back on point, guys. Haven't seen you guys in a while because I've been so busy. Tonight we have a special guest, Nkrui, who will be talking about jewelry, precious metals, gold, silver, and what you need to know about those things. Nkrui, do you want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit of your background?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the efforts that you're doing here and that you're a stacker, a silver and gold stacker. I really respect that. So thank you. I'm what you call a horologist. I'm originally from Baltimore. Name is Stephen Nkrui Richardson. And horology means the science of time measurement. And basically, I make timepieces or watches. I'm an artist, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer. And my first entry into that watchmaking game was through jewelry. I got into the jewelry business in 95 via silver, and then gold, and diamonds, and platinum, and then into the education of it, the metaphysics and the science of it. So I'm happy to share some of my knowledge and experiences with you all tonight.
Ashe, Ashe. Thank you so much. Originally from Baltimore, I've been to Baltimore quite a few times.
Yeah.
Mostly in the city part. Now I know it's like the city, and then it's the county area. So, do you still go to Baltimore? You still live there?
No, no, I've been living abroad. I'm living in Brazil for the last 4.5 years, and then I just recently came back to New York in May, and I'm on tour right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Welcome everyone. Oh yes, wow, wow. Look who's back. That's right. Yes. Good evening, Mrs. Tate. Greetings, greetings, Shaka. How are you? Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. So, you create jewelry, right?
Yes.
I downloaded some of the photos of your jewelry. Let's see if I can get it on here.
Okay.
Ah, there's a piece that I saw
Yes.
and I really did like the gem on there. It's a
Yes.
silver Brazilian gem. So,
Yes.
can you tell me a little bit about this piece?
Basically, this is the sun ring, and this is a yellow agate stone that we use in Brazil, and it's basically cut in half, a half of a circle, and on the side you'll see a tiger eye. So it creates like a kind of like a face and a one eye perspective on the side of it. And then it creates like a horizon of the sun, either setting or coming, you know, or rising. So this is one of my favorite rings as well. It's a beautiful sterling silver, handmade, handcrafted piece.
Nice. That's the first thing I noticed when I went to your website, by the way.
Yes,
That
thank
beautiful
you.
piece. Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
This is another piece that this reminds me of a snake. So I don't know if that was your intentions, but I just felt like the Kundalini energy, but I'll let you describe
Sure,
it.
exactly. That's what you're looking at. Kundalini energy rising, the snake, the serpent, with the ankh, internal life, you know, production, fertility, all of those good things. I think it's a amethyst stone on there. So these stones are very healing. You have different properties lined up with the chakras and many things like that. So, can mean a lot to different people.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You obviously are in touch with the energy. I got two more pieces for you that I want to show that I saw.
Sure.
Another one that
Uh-huh.
sort of reminds me of the Kundalini energy, but this is
Mm.
like, does it go on the cuff of the arm or is it like more up here on the arm?
No, that is the lower part of the arm, and that is a extended piece with a kind of like a long tube of quartz, and then the serpent moving around that particular quartz, and you can see it with your eye, with the stone, and various different parts. So that's another representation of fluent energy, you know.
Hmm. I don't know why I keep being
Yeah.
attracted to this Kundalini energy you have here, this designs, but it's absolutely
Sure.
beautiful. Let me see
Thank you.
here. You're
Thank you.
welcome. So you had okay. So those are the ones that I saw. So
Yes. Yes.
how did you get start? How did you get started with making jewelry?
Well, in '95, I had an African art store, and that was one of my first entry levels into the whole art world was African art. And I began to collect it. Collect it, then I began to sell it. And different people would come through selling jewelry, wholesale, and one particular guy by the name of Emerson Hogan was selling me silver and copper. And my mother at the time just told me, she said, this is a good business to be in. And, I said, why? She said, well, if you sell silver, you would never need money. And I said, what do you mean? She said, because silver is money, you know. So that got me on a journey. And from there, I went into engagement rings and 14, 18 karat gold, some platinum, and then the Rolex watches and the Breitlands and the Cartier. I started reselling them and traveling. And I was wholesaling to quite a bit of stores, silver jewelry. And that progressed. And then I began to study horology, watchmaking about early 2000, 2001 in New York. And then I traveled to Switzerland 2008 or so. And that really got me to understand the mechanics and the inner workings of fine timepieces. And from there, 2008, we was the first to introduce a horology curriculum to public schools. And the first school it was a YMCA. And then after that, the first school we worked with the curriculum on was Benjamin Banneker Academy. And we went there to honor Benjamin Banneker because he created the first wooden clock in the United States with along with different almanacs and things of that nature, survey in Washington D.C. So it's been quite a journey, and last 10 years, my main focus has been coaching people and consulting people and building wealth with precious metals, understanding cycles, bull and bear cycles within silver, gold, and platinum, and many other things far as understanding the applications, how it's used in solar panels, how it's used in cars and various parts of different industries. So is this a wide range application when you really dive into like silver is the number two used commodity on earth? It's just so much of a depth, that for me just to stay in the jewelry industry, you can grow, but exploring many other things, how silver and gold and platinum impacts other industry is very entertaining.
Yes, yes. It's so funny because we wear gold, silver, copper. I've seen some rappers wear palladium a while ago, so we wear them as jewelry. Many years ago, I remember my dad and my mom used to have it in their mouth. They used to have like real gold teeth, not the stuff that you see today, but like the tooth was actually covered and it was like embedded in there. We wear like this as jewelry in our hair. It's even some, I think there's a, what is it, Tommy Copper, where there's copper inside of the clothing or inside of the socks. So
Yeah, yeah.
precious metals everywhere. And what I noticed was that years ago, we used to have silverware,
Mm,
cups, spoons, dishes, and those who were, I guess, in the position to be able to afford some of the gold around their plates, they were able to do that. And so I notice now we don't really have silverware, or you can find a copper cup every now
yeah,
and then, depending on where you're at. You know, you can get that copper cup or that silver cup, but we really don't have that right now. I think most of the utensils are made of some other type of metal, and Lord knows what type of metal that is. But these metals are in our cell phones, they're in our laptops, they are in refrigerators and the stoves. Why? This is why they
sure.
steal the copper out of the appliances. They're also in warfare when they're
Sure.
creating, missiles or bombs or something like that. A lot of these metals are used. So
Sure.
cars, they're inside of the car. It's like everywhere precious metals is being utilized somewhere, somehow, in business or in someone's life. And I think we kind of sometimes we take it for granted, not that we're gonna run out, but I just feel like we can always have access to it, or like it's always gonna be there. And I remember when I was younger, my
Mm,
parents had the gold teeth in their mouth, and I wanted one so bad because I thought it was like so cool, and they wouldn't let me get it. But they were telling me the difference between 14 carat, 24 carat, and could you explain a little bit about that, like the carats within the gold or the silver?
sure, sure. So we'll start with silver. Silver, normally when you see silver jewelry, is stamped 925, which basically means 92.5% pure silver. And then the 7.5% is other alloys. It could be a copper mix, it could be a zinc, it could be various other magnesium and many other metals, depending on what kind of look or what they're trying to achieve with the composition. And then you have silver jewelry that's 0.999. I make some of that myself, where it's those just pure silver, you know.
Mm.
Then in the gold part, so a lot of people are familiar with in the United States, 14 karat gold jewelry. And that created like a standard. So what you when you're looking at 14 karat gold jewelry, you're looking at 58.5% pure gold and 41.5% other alloys. And for example, if they're trying to achieve 14 karat white gold, they may use 41.5% silver, or 40 or 35% silver, and maybe 6.5% zinc, and that would create more of a white gold look. If they're looking at a rose gold, then you will create the balance of composition of 41% in a copper. So whereas though you're going to bring that color into the play. 18 karat gold is 75% pure gold and 25% other alloys, the same composition, but a different percentage. Same composition if you're trying to achieve 18 karat rose gold, you're going to mix it with copper. And then you go up the ladder to 21, 22, 91, 90%, and the same concept. And then you go into pure 24. So these are played out on the stage similar to this. United States standard has like a 14 karat, and then you go to like Europe, Brazil, and Latin countries, you see more of an 18 karat gold standard. And then you move into like India, whereas though they have a more of a standard of a 21 karat to 24. So this is like based upon traditions, customs, culture is built into those different carrots, and it's very interesting how that's displayed around the world, and people, you know, work with these precious metals. For example, in India, India literally eats silver foil. And I was just reading an article or listening to an article today because they use it in edibles and a lot of things. They literally eat 3 million ounces of silver.
Mm. Wow.
So those are the breakdowns, and just to lend to what you was talking about before as far as the applications, and the Tomahawk missile is about 500 ounces of silver. So it is in many, many, many applications and inventions. But now what you're starting to see, what you was talking about, the copper socks, and they use it for healing and things of that nature. And they bring into a lot of different clothing to protect people from the EMF radiation from cell phones and things. Is coming more to the forefront, and that's going to be a big change in the green movement.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed you mentioned rose gold, and then you mentioned they can mix it with copper. So I remember when I was younger, a lot of my friends from the Caribbean, they would say that our gold here in America was not good quality, or it was, not the best gold. And a lot of them, when I looked at their gold, it was sort of it had like a reddish hint to it, like the color. So I think it might have been like maybe in India where it might be like a rose gold, or I don't think it was mixed with copper because they bragged so much. They was like, and then I think if I remember correctly, they said, so is it 24 karat softer than 14 karat traditionally when it comes to gold?
Yes, yes,
I remember.
yes,
Got you, got
yes,
you, got you, got you,
yeah,
got you.
yeah. It depends. I know what you're talking about. The reddish gold from Guyana. It depends on what carat.
Mm,
If they showing you 24 karat gold or 22, and it has a undertone of red, different geographics, gold is showing up with slightly different hues. 24 karat gold may be a little darker or a certain hue in Africa, and then South America, 24 karat gold, so it has a lot of variables, but I know what you're talking about with the red gold in Guyana. Yes.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So I know in history, well, actually, I think now, do you know about numismatic coins, gold coins, silver coins, but they're numismatic coins. So do you know the difference between those and the bullion coins that people purchase?
I do not. I do not. It's so many different variations out here and languages. When you get into the stack and collectible side, and what I normally tell people is that you know if you're gonna start investing into silver or precious metals, go with a reputable company, but at the same time, look for just the quality of the metal, 0.999 or four nines, and the brand names and the antiquity and all of that stuff. Try to stay away from it and just work with the lower premium pieces so you can actually get the metal. But it's so many variations out here, in collecting.
Yeah. So I remember when I was little, my dad showed me a silver a coin, and he told me that
Yes.
this is real money. That
Mm.
dollar that I was begging for to go to the store to get some candy was not real money, and that silver dollar, he had a silver dollar at that time, and he was saying that that is real money. So I started to
Mm.
purchase silver when I was younger. And later on, I started to look into gold. And so I was looking for, so, they have the names like the Canadian maple, the American
Mm.
eagle. And I ran into someone who was selling it for a slightly bit cheaper than the other guys that I was purchasing from. And it was numismatic coins. So what they told me
Mhm.
was is that because these coins are
Mhm.
these gold coins are collectors items, and they date back to like the 1600s, or they'll be like monarch coins where they'll have Queen Anne, George on there. But with those coins, you have to know about collecting them. It's like if you're going to collect pennies, you just can't. Uh-oh, looks like we're losing you there. I'm gonna keep talking, you guys, because I haven't been over here in so long. I've been away. So, um, when I was younger, yes, back to that. So I started to look into coins, and oh, he's gone. We're gonna wait till he come back, but when he come back, I'll put him in. But I'm gonna keep talking, y'all. So I was looking to purchase gold coins for the first time, and oh, I think he's back. Hold on. I think.
All
Are
right.
you back?
I'm back.
Ah, there you
Yes.
go. Hey,
Mhm.
this happens all the time. Welcome back.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
so I wasn't supposed to purchase the numismatic coins because I had no knowledge of it. And so what happens
Sure.
is that these type of dealers can sell you
Mhm.
the coin that doesn't really have any value, because
Sure.
you're looking for like that large expansion. It's kind of like real estate where you purchase this property and you're looking for it to grow, really fast, and it might not happen. As opposed to if I was purchasing the American Eagle or the Canadian Maple or the African Krugerin, you just watch the market and you could hold it for many, 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 many years. So I had to learn a little bit
Sure.
about that and move away from that because I'm not a collector of anything. I'm not I'm not a collector.
Sure.
I am an investor, but I'm not a collector. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
If you guys start to
Yeah.
purchase,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's not really the same, and it doesn't really have actually the same value in terms of
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
growing. Yeah, absolutely. So
Yes.
I got a question. You have
Mhm.
on your website a lot of the gems you say Brazilian gems. Are those you just say it because you like the name Brazilian, or are those gems that are all from Brazil?
Well, during the time that I was there, 4.5 years, most of those pieces was made there with those gemstones that was purchased there and made there. So, to my knowledge, they are Brazilian gemstones, but at any rate, you never know. But I would say 9 out of 10 they are
Hmm.
because Brazil has many mines, and I was buying them directly there in Brazil. So, they have gold mines and silver mines as well. And, Brazil is a very magical place. You can tell that it has a lot of minerals because of the energy in the Amazon and different things is just so heightened. So that was basically why I stated the Brazilian gemstones.
Yes, nice. I've heard about Brazil. I've never been there before. I do want to go there one day. I've met people who have traveled there and lived there. Actually, a lot of people who look like us I met ended up living there for a short amount of time, 1, 2, 3, 4 years. So it must be something good going on about Brazil that I need to go and find out about. So yes, yes, I'm definitely going to put
Yes,
that on my
absolutely.
travel list. Um, So yeah, I want to
Absolutely.
say, so you invest in gold coins also, right?
Yes, yes. My perspective, because I'm in the industry, it doesn't have to be a gold coin. It, I have gold rods. I have gold grains. We use the grains for process of casting. I have gold jewelry that I made, 24 karat gold jewelry, gold watch cases, and things of that nature. So my stacking with gold and platinum is more on a perspective of having two jobs. It's growing for the value that is there, but at the same time, it's in some kind of jewelry form or in some kind of application form. Like right now, I'm making some nano serum skincare product for a partner and I. We're doing some business, and I have some rods of gold. So I use it in many different forms, you know, being in the industry. And that gives me advantage because, this is called compounding, and this what I'm talking about tomorrow in the class at Brooklyn Nicholas is, compounding the coins and things that you holding. Is many other things that you can do with it and work with it.
Nice, nice. Hold on, let me put a little banner here. So you will be in Brooklyn tomorrow. What
Yes,
time?
from 4 to 7 will be
4
there.
p.m.
Yes,
to 7 p.m. is your class, and you're going to be teaching them about.
the power of precious metals, from a collective perspective, from the green movement, the AI era, what's happening in various industries, chart reading, how to understand and identify various cycles to build wealth. For example, if you holding, if you looked at the chart in 2007, 2001 to 2011, and if you held gold, gold was $250 an ounce in 2001. So if you brought just say 20 ounces of gold back during the time was 2000, 2001, that would cost you $5,000. Well, those 20 ounces would have turned into 40, 40,000 at the peak of 2011. So during that time, real estate was still low because it crashed in 2008 along with everything else, but precious metals was the first thing out the gate. So we're going to show people how to leverage, which though they hold precious metals, when it peaks up, they can use that as buying power for their land, real estate, or other precious metals that's lower. And this is called stacking or transformation of wealth, and buying on strength when one commodity is strong and another commodity is low.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's funny that you mentioned that 2008 when the market crashed. So what happens is that
Mhm.
often when the economy is in chaos and mayhem and everybody's running for their life, paranoid, um, people look to move their investment money to a safe haven or a place that they might consider an investment that they might consider to be safe. And I think at that time, that's when gold and silver was ticking up because a market crash like that, it was close to, or I guess the emotion was close to what it was in 1933, which was when we had the Great Depression. And in the
Yeah.
1930s is when they took us off the dollar and took us off the gold standard. And then we just had the dollar, which is now functioning more for credit. So when the market crashed in 2008, you had real estate crashing. You had the stock market crashing. You had people losing their jobs. I
Yeah.
don't think crypto was really active back then, but it was a lot of fear and paranoia. And so I did notice a lot of movement into precious metals, because actually gold is a hedge against inflation, which we have a lot of inflation right now, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yes.
crazy. So right
Yes.
now, I don't know if you watch the
Mhm.
Federal Reserve. Um, they're not federal and they don't have any reserves, but they're the Federal Reserve, and they're now cutting the interest rates. So the interest rates affects pretty much everything in our lives, and people don't realize that. So when they raise the
Mm.
interest rate, they lower the interest rate. This affects our credit cards. It affects our car loans, personal loans, home loans, like all of that in connection to finance. So now they're lowering the interest rate. And so when they're lowering the interest rate, they feel like there's some type of economic uncertainty. And so
Yes.
if they're signaling to the world that there's some type of economic uncertainty in America, people get nervous because what they're trying to do is stimulate growth. And if they're trying to stimulate growth, that means we're lacking growth here in America. That means they see a problem. They see something coming that a lot of us regular people are not aware of what's happening or what's coming. And so we're not fully aware of what's going on. So it's gold is a hedge against inflation, and you get capital appreciation during the economic uncertainty. So at that time, you may see gold rise up a couple of $100s, depending on how bad the situation is. It could rise, maybe 1,000. I think Bank of America put out an article a couple of weeks ago that they believe gold was going to hit in 2025 at least 3,000. Do you know what the price is now?
Well, gold is trading at about 26.50. I think silver is trading somewhere about 31 and a half, and platinum and palladium is somewhere around 1,000. Rhodium is somewhere around 4,800. One of the things that people, should really do, when they look at current events, it's just basically a tide unfolding. Like for example, right now we in October, we know this is fall. So
Yeah.
when you is that's the way I look at it. So when I look at all these current events, it's just unfolding. Oh, fall is coming, spring is coming, summer is coming, and people think that is what is like war or things like that is what is moving these markets, so to speak. They have some hand in it. But when you look at the chart and you go back to 71 and you see that during the time Nixon took the dollar off the gold and silver standard, that was the launching point of precious metals. So if you look at the dollar, if you just held the dollar, at that time, gold was $35 an ounce. So what you're looking at now is, you know, 100% just about. So you look at the way the dollar was just ate up and inflated out. I mean, it just ate up and it's not worth anything. That chart will tell you what it's worth, because if the same person took $35 at that time and brought an ounce of gold, and the person saved $35, then the buying power is not just keeping up. It's the buying power is getting stronger with gold, but the buying power is getting weaker, you know, with the dollar. So I gave this example the other day. I was consulting someone, and just 4 years ago, silver was $16 an ounce.
Mm.
So I told him, I said, just say you took that $10,000 and put into silver, Today it's doubled. That silver would have been worth $20,000. But just say you saved that 10,000 and just kept it in the bank, it's not drawing anything. It would have been cut in half to 5,000 because your buying power to get that same silver would only get you half the amount. So you see how the number games is played, and you have to really understand math. You have one side, a person is positioned at 20,000, and that same 10,000, when you go to buy the silver, you only position at 5,000. So it's it's really a math game. So people go and look at these gold charts, silver charts, and go back in history, and you will see how the dollar is just being ate alive.
Always, the dollar is always in trouble. So, also when you think about it being compared to what's going on with these countries that are moving together, whether they want to trade on oil, like it's like being affected in so many different ways. And you kind of want something just in case an emergency. I'm not saying it's going to be an emergency. I'm staying positive, but you might want to have something just in case this whole thing crash and burn. So, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
for sure.
again, I would say this. I suggest this. Anyone that's listening out there and they thinking about doing any investing, you have to understand that any investing in digital asset, whether it's stocks, futures, whether it's even a home or whatever that is, you're dealing in paperwork. And so it creates a gap between how liquid it is, for one, and then another gap where as though if it's winners and losers over there. With precious metals, it's a foundational wealth, and it's a traditional wealth, and it's a lineage of wealth. So whereas though you need to have precious metals in your portfolio first, and then you want to move up the tree because the precious metals is the foundation, is the roots of the tree. And then you want to, if you want to dabble around in stocks and so on and so on, those are digital assets. Those are the branch and the leaves of the tree. And it's a risky thing. And most advisors, they advise backwards. They want to put you into a digital asset. So you always want to make sure you cover it with nature, God's, her money first. That's my advice. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. So working at the law firm, we're a general practice law firm, so we have many different areas. So if someone comes and
Mm,
they have some type of intellectual property, we work with them, but then they
mm,
may come and they may have try to create an investment portfolio for their children or a trust or something. And these are people who have money. These are not like people who, don't know about money. They know a lot about money. And they do
mm,
recommend to them while I'm at work
mm.
investments in hard assets. They don't
Sure.
come off the back with investing in stocks. Later on,
Sure.
the stocks they do invest in, they tell them dividend stocks, the ones that's going to pay you. So they get paid over and
Sure.
over and over again. But they do.
Sure.
I remember one time we were working with Rolex. Rolex was one of our clients.
Uh-huh.
And do you remember what is it, the date adjuster or date adjuster, a watch called that?
Yes.
It had
Yes.
like the pearls or something inside of it, a pearl face, I think, right?
Sure.
I was like, they were like, okay, we need you. They
Mm,
couldn't mail the watch. They couldn't hire a messenger. Like this gold watch was so important that I had to put on my coat and hand deliver this watch to the client because it was like, I think it was like $10,000. And I was
mm,
like, this is ridiculous. Who's like wearing a 10,000? I was trying to understand, the
mm.
logic in it. Now I do.
Sure.
Back then, I was scared to carry that watch. I was scared to, like
Mm,
take it from the job to the next place. But I would never forget that the Rolex watch, and I remember looking at it, and all of the intricate details on the watch, all of the things that the client noticed that was so important, and how the client recognized that that was actually an investment. It wasn't just,
mm,
today we wear jewelry just to be wearing it, but this is something that they plan on leaving for their children. So it's
mm.
very interesting the way they look at jewelry, as opposed to the way, we were taught or raised to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of different variations, you know, and you know, we was taught of a more, for example, I have the silver West Indian bangles, and sometimes I'll do festivals, and I have people come up and say, "Oh, my mom used to, you know, give us these, and my grandma used to wear these." And when they would tarnish, they would know that we're not feeling well, whatever. So, and then what you was talking about, far as the silverware, we always had silverware. To this day, I have silverware,
Mm,
myself, and we always had a more deeper value for precious metals. You know, the what you see now is this prototype that they presenting when you talk about various people that have certain amount of caliber of money. They're really following our tradition,
mm,
and it started from that era 60, 70 years ago, and it goes back even further, you know, uh, wherever we were around the world, wearing jewelry as energy, wearing jewelry. These are computer chips. Intel chip has a certain amount of gold in it because it stores a lot of memory. So, we've been on a lot of these things. It's just that from that little gap going
mhm.
into the 80s and the 90s, somehow that information got distorted.
Okay.
The China closet went out, you know, the flatware went out,
Yes.
all of these different things went out, of collectibles and energy and why we would do these things. So all we have to do is just get back, to our roots, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. What about ETF gold? Um, I'm gonna say no, but do you know what ETF gold is?
Well, it's a stock, it
Yeah.
could be a mining company, or something of that nature. Again, this is the thing, if you looking to invest and you have gold, physical gold already, okay, then when you go and look at that ETF, the best time to buy that ETF is when there is a correction in the market, like a 2008. We're coming up on one that's probably going to happen maybe between now and the next 6 months or somewhere in that neighborhood. That's what the charts is looking like.
Hmm.
And that would be the best time to buy that particular ETF. It's just more speculation because there's so many mining companies out there. My advice, if you do buy it, you buy it on a pullback. Say it's one stock, say Samstorms or whatever. I think this is trading somewhere at, I don't know, $5, $6 an ounce. I mean, a stock. And say it pull back in the correction to 250, and you jump in. And my advice always with clients that play the ETFs and stocks, when they get to a point where as though this says 5,000, it turns into 10,000, take your 5,000 out,
Hmm.
you know, put that back into hard assets, and then gamble with your winnings, you know? And that's one of the safest plays, I can recommend. And then you can, leave it in there for a longer haul. And, you know, but there's a lot of things out there. People make, a lot of fiat currency off of, tenfold, fivefold. Some stocks go 20-fold, But in this bull cycle, you can get wealthy just by holding gold, definitely by holding silver, and by holding platinum physical.
Wow. Wow. See, for me, ETFs, exchange traded funds, when it comes to like gold, I feel like that's a way for them to manipulate. 'Cause, the stocks are it's manipulation, and I wouldn't be surprised if the actual amount of gold and silver is more than what is being portrayed on when we look on the charts. I feel like it could
Mhm.
be manipulated and they're holding it down because,
Of
I mean,
course.
they wouldn't want us to all run to gold and silver, because at that point it would be hell to tell the captain on this earth. So charts on the Nasdaq. What do you
Yeah.
look at to look at your charts when you look at the prices?
Well, you're looking at history. If you pulled up a silver chart, right now, or Kitco or whatever, you know, I can I can send one silver chart to you via
Okay.
email if you want to pull it up real quick. And that was how many people we have in the with us actually.
A few.
A few. Okay.
Yeah.
How y'all doing out there? All right.
That's the person who asks about the chart. I mean, you can look on the Nas, but the Nasdaq is really when you would look at for stocks and ETFs, but they have a small section for gold and silver, but it's not really focused, on precious metals. But you can kind of look at it. You could also look at, various other investments there in the Nasdaq. But yeah, you could share a website if you want, and then I could put it up there if you want me to type it in for the brothers and sisters to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can. Well,
Yeah, you can
go to
send me the.
Silver Price. I'm gonna send you, but silverprice.org. You can go there. You can go to kitco.com, and you know you can look there at the all metal prices. I just sent you the silver chart via
Okay,
email.
silver
And
price. Okay.
yeah, silverprice.org. But I definitely want to point out something in this chart I just sent you because it's so bullish. It's called what you call a cup and handle, and this is one of the things we really look at and these charts, and you can see a massive base, and you know
Hold on. You're not going to sit here and talk stock terminology to me, and then nobody knows it. I know what a cup and handle is because I trade stock, but I don't think the brothers and sisters know what a cup and handle is. Could you please
okay.
explain what a cup and handle is?
All right, so yeah, we'll break it down. So basically, it's a extended base, where as though you have the formation of a cup. You have a stock run up very high. At one point, it pulls back, and then it plateaus and goes extensive amount just kind of sideways, and then it'll peak up again and match pretty much the last point, so that would create the cup. And then it would pull back some, but not all the way, just to create a little handle and the curve. So that is like a cup handle within a cup and handle. And you're seeing that formate, and that happens, this particular cup and handle is 50 years old. So you're looking at a massive run that's
Yes.
about to happen in the commodity space. And what you're going to find in this cup and handle, you'll literally see how the bull cycle runs, the bear cycle runs, and then you'll start to see that the bear cycle gets even shorter. And this particular bear cycle, for example, the last bull cycle ended 2011. And then it pulled back. And then in 2016, into 2015, it indicated we was in another bull cycle. And these bull cycles, more or less, right now, are lasting about 11 years. So we're in the latter part, 2 to 3 years left in this particular bull cycle, whereas though it makes the biggest moves towards the end. It's like a finale. So, this is why I'm came back to the States and touring and things, because I really want people to understand the quickening and the urgency of positioning themselves in this market. Because I believe once it peak, gold 8,000, silver 150 to $250 or whatever, the bear cycle is probably going to only be about 2 to 3 years, four at the max. And then you're off to the races again, because it's so much the commodities is being used. And then you see the BRICS and all of these other countries positioning themselves early. You see China and Russia buying up massive amount of gold and silver.
Massive amounts. And they've been buying
Yeah.
it for quite a while now.
Yes, yes. So we as individuals, it's important for us to operate like small countries and become our own bank. And, the only way central banks are central banks is because they have precious metals. They have real money, you know. So,
There you go. There you go. And I know I asked you this, we were talking on the phone, so I just wanted you to say it for the brothers and sisters. What about investing in a gold mine or silver mine? If someone approaches them and it's like, hey, give me this money and invest in my gold mine, my silver mine. I'm going to dig it up and we're going to be rich. It's going to be like striking oil. What do you, because this is what's going to, this is going to happen though, right?
yeah,
Because whenever we're on a bull run on any type of asset, people just go crazy. Do you
yeah,
remember prior to 2008 when the real estate market crashed?
mm,
Everybody and mama was buying a house. I
yeah,
mean, all types of stuff was going on. Same thing, stock market. People just buying
sure.
on cryptocurrency. People just buying. So when there's a run on gold, there gonna be some people out there saying, "Oh, come in, Miss Bliss backyard. I got a gold mine back here. Give me your money." So what do you suggest? What do you
Yes,
suggest?
yes. I mean, being in the jewelry industry, I didn't heard it. I done heard so many stories. I done been in the chat room with 5 and 6 people, and or back then it wasn't a chat room, more like a telephone, and it's 5 or 7 people on the call, and all of this stuff, and it's a dream, you know. 99% of that stuff never materialized, because you have to understand, even when the big boys play around with mines, it takes a long time for them to come online. And when you're dealing with these smaller mines, it's always some kind of loophole, something else that they need. Oh, we need this now. We need that now. So my advice, don't even get involved with it, you know, because what are you looking at? Getting gold at 15% under market. Okay, when I was in Brazil, I was buying it at 8% under market, and I would send it back here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was buying it from respectable dealers. People kept asking, why don't you go to the mines? It's no need. I'm not playing at that level, for one, because now you're looking at spending millions to get connected with a mine. And then it's another risk, because you foreign into that land right now. It's not like you was groomed into that. As a watchmaker, there's not a lot of schools. You get groomed into these industries, you know. So Buy the silver from your nearest dealer. Buy the gold from your nearest dealer. Be happy. Look at the charts.
Nobody better not come to you talking about they put some money in the gold mine. Y'all hear it now. Don't say that he told y'all to do that. Y'all better pay attention.
Stay away from it. Trust me. You waste of time, energy, and money.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I remember a story where someone was traveling outside of America
Mm,
and they wanted to pay for something with the American dollar. And in that particular country, they did not want the American dollar. And
mm,
so the person was able to use a gold coin that they had. So my
oh,
thing is that I think I mentioned to you this before when we were on the phone. So if
mm,
someone has a gold coin and it's worth like $2,000, and then someone has like a silver coin and it's worth like 40, $50. So if you're around, moving around trying to make transactions here in America, is it more do you foresee that it's going to be more likely that we'll be utilizing silver more often, or is it going to be like gold? And if it's gold and it's like $2,000 or $3,000 an ounce, are they going to be chipping off pieces of the gold to accommodate what you're purchasing? Because it's such you get what I'm saying, like the 1600s where they were chipping off a piece of the gold or the silver to pay for their products. So
yeah.
how does that work in the future if we're going to have to utilize this, if there's an emergency basis, of course? How do you foresee that? What do you see?
Yeah. So let me paint the picture, of the future. So the whole idea is a lot of people used to think of emergency bases, but the emergency basis is just clearly this. They are working on getting rid of paper currency. And when that phase out, this is what it's going to look like. AI, I'm giving you all a little taste of AI, how to use it in the future in conjunction with precious metals for the geeks out there. So it would be an app on your phone. So in the jewelry industry, we have what you call an X-ray machine, and it'll ping that piece of metal and it'll tell the composition of it. If it's jewelry, it'll have it broken down, every element that's in there in the percentage. Well, speed up to the future. This is literally going to be on your handheld phone, and Miss Bliss will come with some silver. I'll be selling my fruit or whatever, and she'll come through. She don't want to spend her digital currency. Maybe she got locked out. Okay, maybe they locked her out. Yeah, because she crossed the street and rolled her eyes or something. And so she got locked out for a day, but she wants some fruit. And so she grabbed her silver, and I said, "Oh, how you doing, Miss Bliss? What you got there?" And she said, "Well, I got some silver grains, and they small pebbles. And this is what I suggest a lot of my people to buy." And she said, "Well, let me pick out some fruit." She picked out some apples, oranges, and weigh it up. And I said, "Okay, this is a quarter ounce of silver." And she give me the grains. I take my phone, I bing it, bing. It look on the phone, 0.999 pure silver. Thank you, Miss Bliss. Here's your fruit. Enjoy your day. That's what the future is going to look like. So that machine that we have, you can Google it. It's an X-ray machine for jewelry that tells the composition. It's a bigger position now. And I do have some guys looking at it. And the only thing that's blocking right now is the hardware. It's not the software. It's the hardware. So the hardware technology has to catch up with the iPhone or the Android. And that's probably going to be in the next 5 years. So whoever positioned themselves with that app or those apps are going to be downloaded by the billions.
Mm,
Okay? Those apps will be downloaded by the billions. Imagine you charging 25 cents or 50 cents or $1 to download that particular app. So I'm giving y'all a glimpse of what we're going to be talking about in the class,
hmm.
how powerful it is positioning yourself, not just holding the precious metals, but the business side of it.
Mm, got you. Got you. So they would buy now, hold, not sell, guys. This is not like trading like stocks. You buy and hold. And investors, they buy, they hold for the long term. It's not
Yes,
flipping. It's not like you're not trying to flip it or anything like that. So don't get it confused. Don't get it twisted.
yeah,
So this is a long term investment for your future, for your security.
yeah,
Precious metals, you need to look at them as like their assets,
yes,
because they are an investment and they are considered to
yes.
be assets. So
And the most liquid asset on earth.
the most liquid asset.
Gold is the most liquid asset on earth, period. And silver is right behind it. So, a house, a car, and what that means, folks, is that when you go and try to pull any currency off of it anywhere in the world, how fast can you get that currency? That determines the liquidity of that particular asset. So if it's a house, you already know how long it takes to pull that equity out,
Yes,
weeks,
sir.
sometimes months, so on and so on. A car, gold, you can literally half an hour, you can have that check for 50,000 or cash for 50,000.
Now, so you mentioned that when people are purchasing it, right, and they're ready to cash it in, they would have to find a dealer
Yeah,
to trade it in, someone who's trustworthy, of course, who's not gonna, cheat them out of the price, because you'd have to know what the price is when you're going to trade in for your gold or for your silver, right? Am I correct?
yes, yes. This is where the education comes in. That's why I advise people right now, no matter how much fiat currency you have, a small amount that's coming in weekly, a large amount that you want to allocate towards it. Buy consistently weekly, break it up. So that way you have time to study, and that way you have time not just to buy online. Google your local nearest coin dealers, go and visit them. So that way you can have conversations. You can buy from them, you can go to another one and test the same product. You can figure out who's trustworthy, all of these different, you know, characters and things that's moving parts that's in there. And then you're gonna know your selling point or your trading point. For example, when you go back, you buy a piece, say it's $2, $3 over market. Ask the person, okay, if I wanted to sell this back to you tomorrow, what would you give me? Oh, someone will say 98% of market price. Some will
Hmm.
say 99, some will say 95. So
Right.
that way you know your entry and you know your exit. So, it's a learning curve, and that will create an establishment, and you can call them banks. Coin dealers are nothing but banks.
Yep.
And now you have a union of banks that's around you, and then you have the ones that's online that you can mail things to. But it's important to get that union that's right around you, because that is that is more liquid, because you can go there and get it, and then if the other one's not available, you can go to the next one, and so on and so on.
Man, can you imagine if someone purchased a gold coin maybe 10 years ago for maybe like $1,000, and that sucker shoots up, man, they're gonna be running at this.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rush. It's gonna be a lot of people selling. When you see gold hit 5,000, even 3,500, you're gonna see a lot of people dumping 4,000, 6,000, 7,000. Forget about it, you know.
Yeah.
And my suggestion, if you're gonna sell some of your pie, move it into something else. Whether it's buying your freedom, maybe you want to move out of the country, maybe you'll move to another state, Maybe you want a farmland. Maybe you want a dream home. Maybe you want to build a home. Maybe, whatever it is, it should go into something that's going to set you up and make your life more comfortable, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that's my advice. You transfer it into some kind of freedom. Well, or maybe it's paying your home off that you currently have and you don't have any bills, you know, whatever that may look like, and kind of move from there.
Absolutely. Lamar says, get on the frequency. It will strengthen your current. Get on the frequency, guys. Now, when y'all get this money, this is not for you to go buy a Mercedes, a BMW, a yacht. I don't want to hear this. Just blew the money on a big party because you know that's what our folks like to do, right? That's
Yeah.
what I'll be like, oh,
I
you
got
know,
actually I got my eye on an old Bentley. It's only about 20 grand right now. And I said, okay, that's maybe 3 ounces of gold, that I paid 1,000 for at the time.
right.
So
You're allowed to treat yourself to one big Bentley. This one. I don't want to see like a line of cars and boats. Everybody partying. You know how we
so
do.
I'll definitely come flexing through with an old Rolls Royce or Bentley.
You got to have some fun with your profits, right? You got to
Oh
have
yeah.
some
Oh
fun.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll let this one slide.
Yeah.
So I got a question. So some
Uh,
people, they tell me when it comes to storing
yeah.
their silver, it gets tarnished if it's not properly stored. So what
Sure.
do you recommend in terms of like cleaning and storing it? How could you help them with that?
I mean, seal packages, it's still going to tarnish. And at the same time, it's also telling you something about your home or the place where you have it stored, because it's tarnishing because of a certain level of acid
Mm,
that is being introduced to. And so, I wear this ring pretty much every day and this bracelet, but I
mm,
wash in it. The ring I don't wash in as much, but it gives me an indicator how much level of acid I have running through my body as well because it's not tarnishing as fast. But
mm,
you can store it in plastic bags, Ziplocs, but at the same time, it's not like you wearing it, you want to keep it clean or whatever. If it's silverware, I suggest start using it more, or
mm,
flatware. Start using it so you can wash it and clean it. But if it's just bars and coins, it's all good. You know, it's all good. It's gonna do whatever it's gonna do. You
right.
know, but go online and Google these things. We don't go into details right now, but just Google the benefits of wearing jewelry. Google the many things, and that can get you on the path of you know having your bars, and they can be used other ways. You know.
Hmm. Hmm. There are some places that offer vaults where you
Mm-hmm.
could store your gold and your silver inside of a vault, um
Mm-hmm.
where you don't have to keep it at your home because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's heavy or whatever. The only thing is I could say is that can you get to that vault when when stuff hits the fan, so you got that easy access to it, but yeah, I know some people use vaults. I use a vault. So yeah, that vault better be open when the time comes. We gonna be pushing the door down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, if y'all news in the vault, you know, I don't. I have my own vaults because I'm in the jewelry industry. The whole idea is to balance it out. It's nothing but a portfolio. Whether it's in jewelry that you wear, whether it's in jewelry that you give your family, this is protection. This is the best presents you can give someone: silver and gold, platinum jewelry, because it helps raise their vibration and it's going to protect them financially.
Hmm.
in some kind of way for the now and the future. And as far as storing it, store your home, a place close by.
Hmm.
Could be an office, could be a hole in the ground somewhere, could be an old house, could be many things. You have to get creative with these things because if you don't hold it, it's not yours,
Mm.
you know. And the same thing when you turn it over to these vaults, it's not yours anymore. It's in the fine print, just the same way you put your fiat in the bank. It's not yours anymore because they're responsible for it. And there is some things out here, but you won't know until the time is tested.
Right.
And when the time is tested, if you do have, just say you had 1,000 ounces, and I wouldn't keep it all in the vault, and I would have access to at least several hundred, you know, that you can put your hands on. And also, it's in these warheads, Tomahawk missiles, for a reason because it's energy. And you can, we have to know something too. It's harmonized energy. So you don't have to worry about certain things happen if you don't worry about certain things happen.
Right.
If you
Right.
think about great things happening, that's going to amplify great things happening by having that silver because it's a very harmonized energy, you know. It's a very harmonized energy, and a lot of people, fear it on a lot of different levels. That's why I suggest stay in silver. You can always trade it in for gold when the ratio begins to come down. It takes 87, 83 ounces of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. In 2011, that ratio was about 35, 36,
Mm.
40. So you can literally, when that ratio comes down to 50, you can take 50 ounces and go get 1 ounce of gold. So you don't have to buy it because, see, when you move into gold energy, it's another energy because you're dealing with enlightenment. And if you don't understand it, that's when the fear comes in. Oh, I can't
Mm.
keep this here. Oh, this is going to happen. Or this is going to happen.
Hmm.
But with silver, it's affluent. You could spread it at your mama house, your grandma house,
Hmm.
baby daddy house. You can spread it
Right.
all around,
Right.
So it's just a beautiful thing, and it's not making someone jump like, oh, I gotta go see them. They got silver. No,
Right.
you know.
Right. 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 I got you. I got you. So wait, we got a question here. Is it better to have silver and gold or crypto? I'm gonna let him answer that. First of all, investments are investments, so it depends on, I think, your level of knowledge and what do you call it? When you have scared money, it don't make no money. So you
Yeah.
I'll let you answer that question.
Again, this is the thing we have to understand is that we have to reprogram ourselves. We looking at it from the approach where as though, again, do you have silver gold? That's the first thing you want to have in your portfolio. If you planting a tree, it must have roots. So whatever level of that's going to make you comfortable, do it. Then play around with a crypto if you want to speculate in that arena. But anybody that wants a foundation, wants to minimize their risks, wants to minimize problems, will have foundational wealth first, which is physical gold and silver, platinum, and then go into extending that portfolio, so to speak, with a crypto. So for me, it's not or, you know, it's Let's take care of this first properly. How we grow a plant. We put the seed in the ground, it sprout roots, and then the plant begins to grow up. It has to have roots, and this is why it's critical. When people ask these questions, you realize, okay, we've been programmed to train, differently,
Hmm.
and we just have to get back to looking at nature, because all of these terminologies is derived from nature. You have bank, which is a river bank. you know you have a pool, you have streams of income. All of these words, and literally the word economy is derived from ecosystem.
Hmm.
So ecosystem is the true economy, nature. All you have to do is look at nature, and then you know begin to play with these other things, and trust me, you would have less anxiety, less stress, and a lot of things will fall to the wayside.
Yes, 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 yes. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, is what my daddy used to say. So as long as you're prepared and you're
Oh
ready, then
yeah,
you feel a lot better. You feel a lot better. So, okay,
yes,
so
yeah,
tomorrow you will be at Nicholas, Brooklyn
yes,
between 4 and 7 p.m.
yes,
That's Fulton Street, guys, and you will be teaching a class on the precious metals and the various things that they could be doing with them and how they can be investing in them. Um, you're not going to be teaching a class on how to make jewelry, are you? No, that's the future, maybe.
no, 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 we won't be teaching the class how to make jewelry, but we'll go into applications. With jewelry is one of the applications for people that want to go into the jewelry side of the business, via making it, via buying and selling, how to do that, wholesale, just understand the various language and the compound, you know. Basically, you're selling money when you sell silver jewelry. You're selling money.
Mm.
So yes, we are going to cover that, but not the craft side of it.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Well, brothers and sisters, there you are. The class is tomorrow, and you guys can go out to Brooklyn and go learn something and learn how to invest in yourself, invest in your
Yeah.
future, and invest for your family so that you feel safe and secure. You ain't stressed out. And if this whole thing
Yes.
crash and burn, you be sitting back. You be like, I got my money in Miss Bliss' backyard over here. A gold mine.
Yeah, yeah, and we have a stream too. So those who can't make it to Brooklyn and you want to get the class, you can click on the link, get the ticket, and then bam, you get the stream. And it's gonna be. This is a very exciting time. I always say this. I'll say this before I go. There was many sectors, oil sector, million and billionaires was made, and then you went into the geek sector, tech sector. So everyone has their cycles, but the commodity and the precious metal group, when this cycle begins to move and peak, there will be trillionaires made in this cycle, because again, the precious metals is the foundation of every industry. So you can't have the iPhone industry without precious metals. You can't have the computer industry without precious metals. You can't have the garment industry, the car industry. So you cannot have any of these industries without precious metals. And now that it's coming to the forefront, whereas though it's being wide open, shown in clothing, silver buttons I have made in out of my clothes and things of that nature, that
Yes.
I wear to reduce radiation and protect a lot of different things. So the technology of it is coming to the forefront. So you talking about trillions, hundreds of trillions of dollars of industry that's happening simultaneously all around the world, from solar panels to the hybrid cars, whatever you want to name, the inventions that's coming up. You see all day on YouTube, all of these different inventions about energy. You see this stuff. So here we are.
Here
So
we are.
here we are. So
And
join us.
here we are. Here we go.
Here we go. My site is banksilver.org, and you can follow me there at banksilver.org. And the classes there, I have other classes that I put on, and the jewelry is at artcurrency.org.
Okay, I got artcurrency.org right there. And so banksilver.org, that's where they would go to purchase the tickets or
Yes, they can go there. You'll see the Eventbrite link. You'll click on that, and you'll see my other things that I offer up there on Bank Silver consultation. I have a book that's called I Am Rich. When you go to Bank Silver, just go to the top and search and type in I Am Rich book, and that should come up. So we offer the full scale consultation service, to various individuals and companies that want to capitalize and store up this wealth and capitalize on the business side of it as well.
okay. Okay, you guys got that? Banksilver.org, purchase your tickets. If you're interested in the jewelry, then you would go to the other website, scroll at the bottom. And if you're going to go to the class tomorrow, it is in Brooklyn, New York. So be there or be square.
Thank you. Thank you, dear. I really appreciate Miss Bliss. This has been quite a beautiful evening, discussing precious metals on a Saturday, you know.
Yes. But I'm always, I always like these types of conversations. This is totally me. So I'm grateful for having you here. Thank you so much for coming on the show and discussing this. I appreciate
And
you.
I look forward to meeting you in the flesh at some point before I leave New York
Absolutely.
area. If you ever come
Don't be
up here.
surprised if you go back to Brazil and I'll be like, I'm gonna be there. You got to show me around.
Hit me up. Hit me up. You're more than welcome. Hit me up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, guys, I want to
Thank
bid you farewell and have a beautiful night and hope you make it there tomorrow.
thank
Good
you.
night, guys.
Have a good night.
All right, peace.
Peace.